Hey everyone, howdy do. That's my new catchphrase. I'm going to start every stream with howdy do. That's going to be the one. I think I settled on that. Oh look, Dio joined us right off the bat, so we'll get him in here. What's
Evening.
good, Dio?
How's it going, guys?
What
Okay.
up?
Did you
What's
hear
going
my
on, Chris?
did you hear my chosen catchphrase to start the show with?
I missed that. I literally just logged on.
Howdy do.
How'd you do? I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
Anyways, welcome to the stream, everyone. It's Saturday night. It's late on one end of the country where Dio is, and it's all right over here on my end of the country. Where are you from, Chris?
I'm in New Hampshire right now.
Oh, so you're also in the late area.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but we are here again with another episode of content, and tonight we are talking with Chris Fisk from Infinitale Chronicles. We're going to talk about his comic, his website, which I've been browsing. It's a really good website, but just in general, what he's got going on, and then we're going to get a little bit later into your music suggestions that we've asked you to send in, and we're going to just talk about whether they're worth listening to and adding to playlists and whatnot. So we'll get there sooner or later. Tonight's episode is not sponsored by, but is facilitated by Irish Death. Anyways. So, Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself, where your comic journey started, and how you got to where you are with making Infinitale.
Oh yeah. Well, let's see. I guess I can start back in the year was 1990. My high school treated all of its students like criminals, and we weren't allowed to graduate unless we had 140 hours of community service.
Really?
So
Wow.
yeah, which basically meant if you had a job, you worked pro bono to try to get those hours off.
Oh, that's crazy.
And yeah, it's awful. But I had a friend who was in a grade below me, and he's like, "Hey, the Pelham Public Library has this fantasy club. You want to come?" And I'm like, "Oh God, dude, I'm going to get beaten up, aren't I? Like, this is wrong." And I ended up going to it, and it turned out to be this in my hometown library. The librarian there was this like smoke dude. Like, I was like 13 at the time, and I was like, "Wow, this kid's awesome." But my librarian was like a smoke show, and she was hosting a Dungeons and Dragons like game session like every Saturday or whatever. She'd have these Dungeons and Dragons games. And that was my first introduction to Dungeons and Dragons. And it got to the point where I was like, I could do this. That young, naive arrogance of, yeah, I could do this. This isn't that hard. Well, it turned out to be super hard. But I ended up, I was too poor to buy all of the TSR books at the time. It was AD&D 2.5. And the library had a few books, but like most of the books we had to procure. And it got to the point where I was like, I'll just make up my own stuff. And I started doing that. And the librarian noticed that I was doing this and said, "Hey, you know those 140 hours of community service that you need to get off? Well, if you come in here and babysit the town kids down here in the, get people, get some traffic into this library, I will totally let you like use all those like community service hours to do that." And I ended up using various groups of kids to try products. And nothing will prepare you for like critique and criticism like a bunch of honest 10-year-olds and 12-year-olds that your product sucks, man. Who designed this? This is awful. Whoever did this needs to get publicly flogged. I'm like, I'm standing right here, guys. Like it basically, that's what I did for my high school all 4 years to get out of the community service pit that they threw us in. And I ended up as part of like the revenue stream to keep the doors open at the library. They said, if you if you do this, we could write up like little newsletters or whatever and charge people like membership dues. And we ended up chronicling all of the play sessions of those games. And I, compiled them in, and I drew my own little pictures for it and stuff. And that was what we did every week or every month or whatever it was, like to recap the previous adventure. Here's our game. Here's like the cool pictures. Here's the story, whatever. And I ended up compiling those after I graduated high school, went off to university, then grew up, put aside the childish things, took off, and I became a game designer. And I was out in Japan, I was out in Australia, I was out in Southern California.
That's awesome.
And yeah, thanks. Yeah, like I really loved like having that kind of creative like outlet. The only problem was is it was volatile as hell. Like your employment was measured in months, and I ended up finally like leaving it after about a decade of just kind of like the salmon swimming upstream. And I came back to New England here, and I kind of leveraged what I learned in the game design field into like a new industry. I went into cybersecurity. But the thing about cybersecurity is it's a lot more stable, but you don't have a creative outlet anymore. So I was like, what am I going to do? I want to do something creative. And the first thing I did was I looked into animation and screenwriting. I looked into like actually self-publishing my self-developed tabletop role-playing game. And I was like, this is going to be a lot of work. Like I'm literally doing this myself. I'm going to need some type of revenue to come, help me support this. And that was one of my buddies who's an engineer over at Blizzard, who was like, dude, like, why don't you just do crowdfunding? Like, like, why don't you? And I was like, well, I don't know if I got, if I could have a proof of concept with, have enough of the stuff ready to actually ask people for money. Yeah. And he's like, well, what about like with like World of Warcraft? Like, why people were jazzed about that MMO before it even launched? It's because they had all these other games and all this other media to like entice them into the world. Mm-hmm. They knew where like landmarks were before they even set foot in World of Warcraft. And I was like, yeah, well, how am I going to do that? And they're like, why don't you write a book? And I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, do you think people are going to like novels? He's like, why are you thinking novels, man? You can draw, do some comic stuff. I was like, okay. So I started working on the comics, and the first thing I did was I looked back in that storage bin that I had way back in the day in the 90s that had all the chronicled adventures from my Infinitale game. And I was like, you know what? This could make a viable story. I mean, hell, like it was made before the age of Google. And what we did, I basically plumbed the depths of the library, and I looked at all various like folklore from everything from the Kalevala of Finland to Snorri Sturluson's sagas, the Volsung sagas of Iceland, all the way through like all the operas and stuff, all the stuff that Tolkien ripped off, essentially. I was like, rather than ripping off Tolkien, I'll rip off what he ripped off. Yeah. So I went that route.
Might have a different twist on your ripoff.
Yeah, exactly. Like if you're gonna steal, you gotta make sure people don't know you're stealing. So I did that, and I was looking at the comic. And I'm like, oh my god, I got like 10 books out of this thing. Holy crap! And I reached out to somebody that knew a little bit more about comics creating than me. This guy Zen over in California hooked me up with some artists. And we started working on it, and we put out book 1 in 2021. Got it crowdfunded and everything. It's actually on Amazon right now, like the retail version. And then I started on book 2, and good God, was that an endeavor? It took me like 3 years to get this thing ready for prime time. So that's where I am.
Nice,
awesome.
Nice. We've talked to quite a few other people and who've had a similar start with the tabletop, Dungeons and Dragons style games, and I just got struck with the memory. I didn't play Dungeons and Dragons when I was a kid because Satanic Panic was a thing.
Oh God, yeah.
And I remember one of the was it a tract or maybe it was a comic, but. And in it, the story was like the kid ends up committing suicide because his character died.
Oh God!
In Dungeons and Dragons. But my connection with Dungeons and Dragons and comics and stuff is that what you just triggered a memory was that when I was in like 4th and 5th grade, I wanted to draw and I was always drawing and stuff. Kids who played D&D would come to me and have me design their characters.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I just remembered that.
Nice. It's got your first commission.
Yeah. They also had me draw trucks. Those are the 2 big things.
Nice.
Yeah, but I could go off on another rant about weird things. But anyways, Like I said before, I was looking at your website. There's a lot of like info and that is a pretty good website. Like
Oh, thanks.
one of the things that in the crowdfunding space is it's guys, they're just doing it on their own. It's like my little ghetto setup of, I don't know if you guys noticed how much duct tape's on this thing, but having something like your website just to help you stand out. Have you found that helps your sales and stuff?
Well, I know that I get traffic from the website, which is nice, and like hopefully, like I have actually had a decent success with the retail edition of the first book here, and it does lead right to it. So if you want to learn more about the book, part of this is I approach it from a customer's perspective too. You want to like remove as many barriers as you can from actually buying the book. And I actually took it a step further and said, you know what, like here's 16 pages for free. Like, if you want to read the book, you can read 15 or 16 pages of it. And
that is a really cool little a way to do a digital comic too. Like
Awesome.
the fact that you can move the pages.
yeah.
I haven't seen that. That's really cool.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. And in addition to that, we got links to, like, if you just hit buy now, it'll send you over to Amazon. And then this is what we did during the crowdfunding. So these are the 3 covers that we offered during the crowdfunding. Offered a nice little acrylic standee, some cards, a double-sided poster, a little hollow foil card. But when it hits retail, we got a different cover, and there's none of those tchotchkes or bells and whistles are there. So that's kind of like when I was approaching kind of the crowdfunding thing, I was like, you want to like give the backers like a white glove treatment. You're helping me. You're supporting this product, making sure that it actually comes to light. So you should be getting kind of a better experience. And I'm not saying that the retail is a lesser or like a worse experience. It's just, this is your premium experience. Like you get a lot of cooler stuff.
Yeah, you get the red carpet treatment where the celebrities who don't need it get the basket full of multi-$100,000 of goods.
Yeah, exactly. It's the the sweeten the deal kind of thing.
Yeah.
With our second book here, we're doing the same thing. Like you can read all the stuff in the second book, but based on some feedback we got on the first book, because I send out surveys after we fulfilled that first campaign, because I kind of want to know what backers want and capitalize on that, and what they didn't want, I want to kind of not provide that. So some of the feedback we got was around like the art direction or the art style, and they're like, this didn't match the promotional material, blah 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 blah. So what I did was I actually reached out to 2 separate art teams, and it's kind of a competition we have for book 3. Where we're offering the same story. So this is all book 2. You can flip through it or whatever. But here we also have the same story done by a separate art team.
Oh, crazy!
So like explosion. Then we also I don't know, because maybe my nephew might have influenced me a bit. He went full weave, but I'm also offering a manga edition, which
cool.
is. Yeah, it's kind of like a trade paperback. Like, let's see if I can find a little bit of that. Actually, I'll just show the full one here. Where are we? The full one. Oh, here it is. Duh. So, Jumoko no Tyson is a Japanese, obviously, for the War of the Trees, and that's our series. The whole Infinitale Chronicles is kind of the how to explain this? It's kind of like the universe, the game, whereas the War of the Trees is kind of the series, and it focuses on the origins of this elfin race, their universe, and as you can see, it's in the manga format. So hey,
nice.
the wrong way.
Oh, that's cool. That's funny.
So you got to flip the book over. We got the cool picture here of our main hero here, Aisling, and it just goes through. So we've combined books 1, book 2, and book 2.5, which is what I'm doing for the second campaign. Book one is like 50 something pages. And when I wrote, when we kind of, because again, I had a whole 10-book story and I was chopping this sucker up. And I got to a point where I was like, okay, that could be a good spot to end for book two. And I read through it and I let some of my proofreaders read through it. And kind of the general consensus was, I mean, it was good and everything, but it didn't have the peaks and troughs of the first book.
Yeah.
So I said, screw it. Let's throw in book 2.5, which brings the book from, I think it was like 60 pages to 120 pages.
Nice.
So it's double the size. And it was like, yeah, it definitely leaves on a better point now. And yeah, I mean, it's the same thing as the as book one and book two, but it's done in this. It's basically the art from the first book, just duotoned and shaded instead of colored. So
Mhm.
I'm hoping there's a market for that. We're not sure though,
Yeah.
because it's an experiment. You know, we got these three.
Yeah.
Where is it? These three editions, and I'm hoping that out of these three we get a decisive victor, because that'll be kind of the future of the book series from there.
And what do you do if there's a three-way tie?
Oh, that's a problem. If it's a high volume three-way tie, that is a good problem to have.
Yeah.
I'm not sure yet, because like check it out. This is my this is the preview for the crowdfunding site. Like this hasn't gone live yet, so I'm still kind of milling over some of the details.
Mhm.
But what we're offering is, you know, those 3 books. There's even going to be a bundle option where we put the alternative art edition and the standard together in a nice little funky slipcase. And then the manga editions and trading cards, and then yay, I got myself a 3D printer and printed out this glow in the dark monster statue and one of the characters with a paint kit that comes with it, or you got these funky like acrylic. So I here, I'll just scroll through. Where is it? So there's the glow in the dark 3D printed what they call a water leaper, which is one of the monsters the heroes encounter. It may or may not have killed some of the heroes. And then this is one of the female characters from the story. She's got an interesting past, and I also included this nice little paint guide, complete with paints and paintbrush and sealer and all the fun stuff.
Super awesome. What a fun, just a fun layout you have for it. You know what I mean? It just has that it's immersive and just catchy, man. I love what you're doing over here.
Awesome, thanks, man. Yeah, I hope this catches some attention.
I hope so too, man. It should. It's definitely a lot of detailed and polished work that just looks awesome, man. It just looks like a cool world.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. It's. I mean, I feel like I kind of cheated in a way with my story, because I didn't have like a point where when we wrote the story and built the game around it, I wasn't just going from scratch. Essentially, I obviously I leveraged some mythology and stuff. 12, 13-year-old me, I'm like, oh, this would be a cool story. But like the characters, these are actually played by people. Like like one of them actually named her daughter after one of the main.
Cool.
Yeah, I was like, wow, that's so. We've got like they're all. It's based on like Welsh and Irish mythology to some degree. It's not quite Irish, not quite Welsh, but there's this part in ancient Welsh folklore called the Tuatha De Danann or Tuatha De Danann. They are the kind of like the first people of Ireland or Hibernia, and they didn't come from this world. And it's like, well, how did they get there? Well, I'm trying to explain that. So hopefully, the two a day were kind of these, these supernatural beings essentially. And what better way to, combine some supernatural beings when you look at like the Icelandic or the Norse mythology of the Seelie, the Light Elves and the Unseelie, or the Halsafar and Dolkafar, all these like mythological elements, just kind of throw it into a blender and hopefully something cool comes out of it.
Nah, it looks great. I like the two. I mean, the manga edition's its own thing, but the two different styles is a brilliant. Like, I feel like I would have to get both just to make a vote.
Yeah, well. So Oops, sorry.
Will you? Okay, so let's say everyone had the same idea. Like, I can't just pick one, I want to see the fulfillment of both of them. Will you also at the end? Will you have a vote, like a real vote, or will you just go purely on the which one does better in the crowdfunding?
Well, I'm the money definitely helps as a means to measure things. It's a good metric.
Hmm.
But I send out a survey after the books are fulfilled because I want to hear, again from customers. It's like, you're giving me money, I better listen to you. So in there, I could definitely put something of, of these three books, in which order would you weight them? We've got the standard edition, and the standard edition is more of like your standard comic book or Western style. The alternate art has kind of more of like a European bande dessinée, like the French style comics, and then manga, obviously. that's your attempt at Japanese.
So is it also so you're saying it's a more of a European size as well?
It's actually the same size. I didn't want, like originally I was tossing around the idea of going the A4 route or the 18.5 by 11.
Yeah.
But when I was trying to bundle them, logistically, I was like, I put it in the box and it's all sliding around. I'm like, yeah, that's no bueno.
Yeah. Not that I know that you're not, but I love the magazine. I wish more comics would do the magazine size, that European sized book. I know it's more expensive, but I'll pay it.
Yeah, it's more substantial in your hand. I don't know. It's weird because I was looking at printing prices too, and they vary wildly based solely on the dimensions of your book. I was like, is it really the digest format is half the cost of a standard comic book size, and it's not half the size of a comic book. But I was like,
the other person who has something similar to me, with as much kind of cool is oh, now my mind's gone blank. Arvid. Arvid.
Oh yeah.
And the way his book came packaged and everything was, it was. I get the same feeling with this, where it feels like an event. It feels like a big deal. That's that's a good thing. When someone like you said backs your book, give them something that makes them feel like hey, this is a big deal. You're helping out.
Yeah. It's I mean, crowdfunding, you are kind of buying the product, but at the same time, you're also kind of supporting. You're basically making it possible for creators. Like for example, let's see if this will load. When I went to when I shipped out the first book, it came in these this is the back of the book, but or the back of the box, but this is what people received when they got the first campaign. So it's an event.
Yeah, it's special. It's you feel like one of the the number ones, the alternate covers and stuff in the mainstream, they're cool and stuff, but a lot of other people have a chance to get those as well. This feels more special. This feels more and personal.
That's my soul.
Yeah. And one of the things I like about the crowdfunding thing is that I get to I get to not just buy a comic. That's of course I want the comic, but also I'm investing in something that I hope. This is the that thing of you discover a band, you hope it gets big so you can say I was there first.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're a little bit like, yeah, but you guys don't deserve it.
Oh damn. Yeah. It's I don't know. I've met some like there is this weird sense where you find some creators where they feel entitled to it, and it's like, dude, whatever failure I have it's coming from me. I don't believe that anybody owes me,
for sure.
I don't get upset when it's like this was the table that I set up at the Granite State Comic-Con back in September. And I don't know. I mean, I had an interactive touchscreen kiosk, with books and all this stuff. And I don't know. I bombed pretty badly.
It's funny, dude. I was going to ask you how you did, because that's a great setup. That would draw me right in. I mean, everything looks good. And it's just, that's crazy. Maybe it was too intimidating.
Yeah.
Seven Swords says the packaging's like Apple, which.
Oh, damn. Yeah. Yeah. It's part of like, maybe it's the working for a Japanese game developer and stuff, but like part of the experience of buying something is also that, like, opening of the box, that, that's part of the experience. And if you just, like in Japanese culture, like it's not so much the gift you get, it's how the gift is prepared and presented, and like, if you just threw something in a Walmart bag and you're like, here you go, kid, they'd be like, oh, that's offensive. But if you like wrap it, like they've got all these like customs for like wrapping paper and like all this stuff, and you never give somebody something you never hand something to somebody with one hand, you always use two hands. It's I don't know, things like that probably rubbed off on me. I don't know if it's for the better or not, though.
We got Ken B in the chat says, what it do, homies and homies. But no, yeah, that you've walked into a bookstore or whatever, and there's just a person standing there or sitting at a table, and it's like a book signing. We got a cat going on here, and it's always a little sad. They're a local guy and they've written a book and they're at a book signing, and that stand that you had there, that setup, definitely would have got me over. That would have gotten me over to talk to what was going on there. That is, that's professional. It looks good.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I guess a little marketing background, a little advertising. Obviously, I've been told that, dude, you clearly worked or were in the proximity of somebody like Blizzard when you were doing your stuff. And I'm like, yes, unfortunately. Because it's like, it sucks, because it's like, I got a lot of inspiration from amazing artists that were a hell of a lot better than me. Like, these are people that are veterans in the industry. And I'm like, wow, like, I'm intimidated, I feel spoiled. And it's like, I feel embarrassed when I show my stuff, and it's like, does this even measure to that? Like, is it close? You know what I mean? It's like, is it the Temu version? Or the Wish.com? Like, so yeah, I don't know.
It's its own style, but it's good.
Oh, thanks.
I mean, I think that's I think a lot of artists, I mean, shit, I'm down on my stuff all the time too, but I mean, I think the thing that makes art cool in comic books and games and all that stuff is that there is a difference in style. You know what I mean? It's if it all looked the same, the execution, it would be boring, and I think looking through your book and everything, it has that fantasy aspect to it, but it has its own style, which would be, an indication that it's your stuff. You know what I mean? It doesn't get lost with like the World of Warcraft look, if that makes any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a relief to hear, because like, when I initially, like, I'd send these to my proofreaders, and one of my friends, Oscar, like, he does not hold back. He's like one of those friends that is completely brutal.
That's a good friend.
Yeah. He's one of my, like that's why I asked him to proofread, because I knew if like things sucked, he'd be like, dude, this is terrible, or like, don't bother, like you're wasting your money and time. But he was looking through it, and one of his first things, he's like, oh, look, it's a blood elf from World of Warcraft. I'm like, oh, son of a bitch. But yeah, it's like, considering that, this is like, what, 20 years older than World of Warcraft or more, like,
that's a compliment.
Yeah, it's I mean, this stuff came out, obviously this is an homage to Sephiroth, but that wasn't it. That was the intent of the artist, not the intent of the the writing. But yeah, it's I mean, I'm sure, like, in this day and age, fantasy has become such a saturated genre that everything feels a bit derivative. And I'm hoping that at least something that that one's a little risque, but not forward. But I'm hoping that it doesn't feel too derivative. Like there's an actual story in there. I mean, oddly enough, my goal is to make people cry when they read this book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I mean, any sort of emotional connection is a good one.
Yeah, it's because when people like I've had some reviewers read the first book and they're like they were bringing up very like topical things like, oh, this, like if you've ever heard of Plato's allegory of the cave,
Mhm.
like this draws heavily on that, things like Logan's Run, and like, oh well, this is clearly like a kind of a, I guess, an observation of modern government and authoritarianism and all that stuff, and I'm like, is it? That's cool, you got that, but that like that's, it makes me happy that people get stuff like that out of a story that you wrote as a punk teenager, but like a lot of it was like escaping childhood, like the idea of like how scary it is to become an adult, and it's
Yeah.
a necessary pain we have to have or we die. Like if we don't grow, we wither on the vine,
Yeah.
and that's kind of the premise of the story. Is it's these eternally young beautiful people with problems who they live in this paradise, ageless. They never knew what sickness was or any of this stuff, and the other thing is they never really reproduced, so they were just basically these hedonistic Californians, like what they're 90210. And one day our one of our characters gets pregnant, and we start hearing about these kind of theocratic rituals where there's this harvest, their moon cycles or whatever, say every however long the moon cycles, they have this thing where they sacrifice, like basically like a human sacrifice, these people, and they put their names into a lottery to do this, and they're like, well, we're just going to get renewed, it's not a big deal, it's like in Logan's Run, it's just carousel, we're being renewed.
Yeah.
And our hero learns, like, after she gets pregnant and has this kid, her kid gets called as one of the one of the people to be harvested. And he's like, she's not even been like, hadn't even had a chance to live yet. Like, no. And then that was when we started learning that everything's fine until you question dogma. And that's when you realize that you're not in the paradise you thought you were.
Yeah.
And all hell breaks loose. And that one little bit of, what is it? The roots of, or the seeds of defiance can't take root because they sprout and become the weeds of rebellion. And you've got these people that need to go if they're defying your order, and unfortunately that kind of runs afoul of the whole system. And you now have this queen who's basically deposed, essentially fighting like her own people. She was the slave that escaped the cave and came back and said, it's all bullshit, guys, it's not real. And it's like, how dare you say that, Philistine? So
well, now I'm definitely interested in reading, backing this, and getting the first issue for sure, because that touches on a lot of like my thought processes in life. Because one of the things I never wanted to do was grow up.
Yeah.
and but having done it for the most part. There's things about it that are great. Having kids is it's tough, it's terrible, but at the same time, it's like I wouldn't want any. I love those kids. Like seeing them grow up. All the things about getting older and all that stuff that I fought against when I was a kid. Like I really did. There are beautiful things in it. And but also the seeds of defiance that I'm a natural born rebel. So
hell yeah,
it hits me on a couple notes. I have to definitely get into that and read these ones.
Yeah. I'm hoping that people do get stuff out of it that either I don't know if it was intended or it's just the way that this was written. It had so many heads banging together to make this. Like these were all players. This Ashlyn here was played by somebody. This character Darwin was played by somebody. F.A.O, another character that was played by somebody. But they all brought their own personalities to it, and it was like, I talked to friends later on after years of this, and they're like, dude, what the hell kind of Dungeons and Dragons were you playing, man? Like, we were just going to bars. We were murder hobos, we would just go to like taverns and beat up orcs and shit. Like, what is this? And I was like, well, with the way that I approach it, that's why it's called Infinitale. It's a portmanteau of infinite and tale. You put it together.
Yeah.
It's like EverQuest back in the day. And I basically set it up like a screenplay format with multiple kind of forking options, almost like a rudimentary video game that you can improvise on the spot. So a lot of this was like a combination of like cooperative storytelling and improv.
Mhm.
And I know it's like, oh, that's a weird theater kids thing or whatever, but like at the time, like there were mechanical incentives for it, so you weren't just like the kid like talking in "Art thou thy knave?" There was actually you had reasons to it, because it was heartbreaking. Like, dude, this blew my mind. Like, I felt so bad. Like, there were characters that died and kids were crying, man. It was like I pulled out a machine gun and blew up Santa Claus or something. They're like, ah! I'm like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, so
just
yeah,
like the video I watched when I was a kid.
Yeah.
The comic I read. Oh no, it's true.
Yeah. Well, fortunately, nobody ever pulled the Tom Hanks and
Yeah.
the Two Towers there. But they like that blew my again. I was just a dumb teenager, but I was like, wow, I didn't that kid was like really depressed, and then another one like so when they actually had like that pathos, that like emotional connection to their characters, it was like it blew my mind, because I never really got that when I played D&D. I was like, yeah, my dwarf is gonna go kick some ass. Yeah.
Maybe it's because you were actually good at it and they sucked. You didn't have to worry about him dying. But
yeah. Oh, dude, I've had some boneheaded plays before.
So you've been on John's Longbox, right?
Yes, I have.
He has, I'm hearing some similarities between his book, because his is, a lot of his characters are based on his friends' role-playing characters as well.
Oh yeah. Actually, we hit it off. He was, we ended up like pretty much just shooting the breeze about Dungeons and Dragons for like a good hour at one point. It's like, oh, maybe we should talk about your book. I'm like, yeah. Anyways, what'd you think of Dungeons and Dragons?
He was on. Was it last week, Dio?
I was
week
last
before.
Week and the week before.
Yeah, and
not last week. The week before, rather.
Week before, yeah. And he started off talking about board games, and neither Dio nor I are really, but he was able to hold the conversation.
It's a hobby. Yeah.
But we're coming up on about a little past half hour, and gonna get into our second segment of the show. But let's real quick talk about and we'll mention it again at the end. But where people can go to find Infinitale Chronicles and get their hands on some of the.
Oh yeah, books. So if you head on over to InfinitaleChronicles.com. You get the nice little ushered in, like the page, whatever, you got the cool books. If you want to actually participate in the crowdfunding, we've got this nice pre-launch page. You can find it from the crowdfunding section here on the site. It'll bring you to this, where you can sign up in your email. And when the campaign launches, you'll get an email with secret perk links that'll get you like this card for free and some discounted offers and bundles. Not available to people who don't sign up. So that's kind of like my special incentive to get emails.
even more special tier.
Yeah, it's super special. You can also catch me on X or Twitter or whatever it's called at this point, at Infinitale Comic, like you see in my name there at the bottom left. I say a lot of really spicy takes and do some really dumb things on there. But, yeah, and
if anyone's needs the link, I have the link pinned in the chat as well as the description under the video. So make sure you click on that and head to the website. And like this, it looks amazing. The book looks great. The packaging looks amazing.
Awesome.
And the story sounds really, really good. So
thanks, man.
Hopefully anyone watching in the future or whoever's watching now will go and grab some. But as for now, it's time we judge people's musical tastes. I was considering blowing my screen up, and then when I put that down, I'd be doing the same look. But yeah, we got once again. I asked on X for some musical suggestions, just recommendations for when I'm working at I'm at work and I'm listening to music, and I don't know if you guys have the same problem where Spotify, Apple Music, whatever it is, their algorithm just plays the same 12 songs. You have 3,000 songs in a mix, and it plays the same damn songs every time.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that if I add more music,
Switch it up,
might
yeah.
help mix it up a little bit. So I asked people on X to send in some music suggestions, and we've got I think we got about 10, but I only did 5 for this week. And you know what? I should look up and see who sent them. But did you guys go ahead and get a chance to listen to the?
I did. Yep.
Unfortunately, yes. And there's a video for that Banana Man song that has nightmare fuel. It's pure nightmare fuel.
On Spotify they show a little 3-second clip of if there is a music video in the background, and I see a little bit of it.
Yeah, what are they? It's like a human parakeet.
Yeah. So let's start with we had first one suggestion came from Strange Pages on X, and it is a band called Lonely Heights. Apparently they have no album out yet. They have a bunch of singles, and they're from Salt Lake City. But I'm gonna go ahead and hit this. Let the people hear a little bit of it if it plays. Anything happening?
No,
I hear nothing.
Me neither. I'm gonna click another one and see what happens. Huh. Well, Chris was here earlier when I hit a button. And
I heard it then. Yeah, we're doing it live.
Yeah. But anyways, we'll talk about that. Lonely Heights. What did you guys think of Lonely Heights? I suggested 3 songs from their list of singles. What'd you think?
Drowning. I honestly liked them. I was surprised. I was like, wow, this is a band I've never heard of, but the music's pretty good. I think there were 3 songs that we got to hear from them. Yeah,
they have like I said, they don't have any albums, and but a few singles. I don't know how long they've been around, but it seems like they're a local SLC Salt Lake City band. But I thought they were pretty. They reminded me a little bit of Fall Out Boy.
Yeah. I actually got some Foo Fighter Everlong vibes from one of the songs, even though it doesn't sound like it. Like the tempo and the beat, I was like that.
Yeah. Some of the other stuff I listened to. I think most of the songs they had, and I don't know about. I'm not a Fall Out Boy fan.
Too many Jillikers.
but I actually I kind of liked the a few of their songs. I put 3 of them on my playlist. So if you are listening, Strange Pages, if you ever watch, you got 3 out of however many singles they have added to my playlist. So there you go.
Nice.
But yeah, I really wish that really is annoying that it's not playing.
I wonder why. Because it was totally fine when you hit that button and we got to hear a little bit of it.
Let me push this button. That's not even playing.
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. But so now that that's playing, okay, now it works. Great.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I did end up, and actually, the more I listened to those 3 songs,
Mhm.
the more I liked them.
Yeah.
They're actually pretty good.
They're catchy. Yeah. Yeah.
Out of all
Kudos to
those songs
whoever.
that were offered up this week, I think that was the one band that I was like, all right, man, I dig this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Same
Everything else
here.
was sort of a hit or
Yeah.
miss or just missed.
Yeah, this so Strange Pages. I think last week I declared DC Miller the winner. This week it's Strange Pages for his suggestion for Lonely Heights. But we'll move on to Kirby Crackle. Alvaro Cortez, who was our guest last week, suggested this. They are a nerd rock band
Mhm.
who. All they do apparently they're big in the Comic-Con scene.
Like freeze pop.
Yeah, and but they do a lot of as you heard, a lot of songs based on comics and stuff. And let's listen to a little bit of. This song was Vault 101.
Yep. Fallout.
What did we think of Kirby Crackle Vault 101?
I prefer the first band a bit more. It's not that I hate this one. It's just, I don't know. It felt very flat. Like
it kind of a couple of these bands reminded me of like Bare Naked Ladies.
Yeah, it's been 1 week.
Yeah, where they have a couple songs that you're like, okay, this is catchy enough, but then you're not sure if they're joking the rest of the
Yeah, it's like ironic for them.
Yeah. I did not, in fact, add this song to my playlist, but they had the very next song on the album E for Everyone is called On and On. And it's clearly about Wolverine, and I added that one.
Nice.
Actually...
Schnick. Okay, bub.
But I told Dio last week, but if anyone wants to hear another band that does and they apparently it's all DC, but the band is called The Core, like the Green Lantern Core. And it's punk rock. It's super fast drums, hard crunchy guitar.
Okay.
And they do some good stuff too as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, we'll move on to the next band, which was DC Miller again, suggested Knower, and the song is called Time Traveler.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, is this one not working?
No need.
I hear it trying to work.
Yeah. The gerbil died in the wheel.
It's like my prostate.
There it is.
Oh, there you go.
How do we feel about this one?
Be better if it was shorter. You know what I mean? Like
almost 6 minutes. I think.
Yeah, it goes on way too long.
Yeah,
it's not
like
bad
dubstep.
It's like Chris said about the other one. It's all the rest of the other songs that everybody not to no spoilers fell. I think falling flat is that first band definitely had some pop to it and it was catchy, and everything else is sort of I don't know, sort of fell flat. This one too, it would have been better if it was a shorter song, but it just went on way too long, dude. That's why I love punk rock. 2 minutes, 3 minutes, song's done.
Yeah.
So apparently this band, Knower, is a side project of someone else. I don't know what other bands they're in, but it's a side project of some dude and some girl. And I feel like there's a common theme for people side projects where someone will go off and do something, and it's always electronica. It's always some sort of like dance music. Have you heard Sleigh Bells?
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of Sleigh Bells, except without the guitar riffs.
That's funny. It's like Matt Skiba from Alkaline Trio has that Heavens side project. They only put out one album. It's good, but it definitely has some electronica to it. I've never thought about that before, but that's pretty spot on.
Like Postal Service.
Oh yeah.
You know, he went and it's like definitely a dancey kind of electronic thing going on as well. So yeah. So I did add this one to my list just because it's good enough for, you know, to throw on during the workday and kind of mix up the mix. But
right.
I prefer Sleigh Bells. Actually, I have a few of their songs. So, all right. The next one is.
Oh boy. No.
So, did you get to hear the whole thing?
Yes.
Yeah. Kind of picks up a little bit later on.
Yeah.
So right here.
It's like Harry Belafonte in an acid trip.
I was just gonna say but I'll take Harry Belafonte though.
Yeah.
So having had kids,
Little SpongeBob.
Having had kids, you know, so my oldest is 23 now, but in the early 2000s, whatever, the Wiggles came to mind.
Oh God.
This very much like reminded me of the Wiggles, and I'm afraid I did not add Banana Man to my playlist.
Gee, what a mystery.
I understand their musical abilities. You know, the whole song, it goes up, it goes down, there's different breaks, there's different you know, I get it, but it's
just
again,
watch the video.
Yeah. But again, it's another one that kind of reminds me of like They Might Be Giants, or
for sure,
or who's the ones that sing Particle Man?
Oh yeah. What is it? The Tombstone logo.
Oh man, what is that band? Now, if anyone knows Particle Man, you know what I'm talking about.
They did a. What? Did you hate it when you get old and it just falls out of your ear? You're like, I know the band, you know.
And they had a couple songs on the Particle Man was one of them, but on the Animaniacs.
Yep.
Dang, yeah, but it had that same feel where it's like I said before, like I'm not sure if you guys are serious. Like, am I listening to a Weird Al level band?
Yeah,
you know, which is fine if I want, you know, but I'm not necessarily going to put it on my cool playlist. You know. It kind of throws the whole mood off when Banana Man comes. But so all right, let me see. I forget who the next. Okay, so the next one actually, that was sent by Elijah Joseph. The next one sent in by Steve Miller, and he actually has a comic. Called The Thug, and this song was made as a part of a soundtrack to his comic.
Oh wow!
That's
so cool. This one is it's by DJ JD and the Audio Vandals, and it's called Perspective. And I think you don't see it on YouTube. I didn't find it on Spotify, but let's go forward a little bit because it has a long intro.
Good advice, by the way. The lyrics of the song?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Got it inside page. It doesn't look too bad either.
It looks like a mind flare. That's sweet.
Nice Savage Dragon.
Yeah.
But what do we think of Perspective?
Oh, sorry.
No. You go ahead, brother. You go ahead. I was just go ahead.
Yeah, I got a big mouth. I'm sorry.
No,
Yeah,
don't be sorry.
I would probably put it as the number two. I think the first band that you, cause maybe it was because we got to hear 3 songs from them, but like I really like that. I don't know, like and like you said, the more you listen to them, the more you like them.
Yeah.
This one, I really like the lyrics. I like it has a really positive message, and I wish more people appreciate like that kind of messaging. Really is helpful. It just, I don't know, maybe it's the genre. Like it feels very like I'm about to enter a boxing ring, or I'm playing a fighting game or something, you know?
Yeah. It was another one that, man, well, this one was like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And, you know, after the third verse, I kind of got the point.
Yeah.
Not,
You kids better go to the bathroom before the song starts.
yeah.
Are we there yet?
Yeah.
And I enjoyed it. For the I probably would have added it to my playlist if I could. It's not necessarily my genre of choice, but I have enjoyed songs in this. You know, what it reminded me of is like the Spawn soundtrack.
Oh yeah,
That's
you
funny.
know, a little Crystal Method and Korn thrown together.
Oh man,
you know, or I don't know if those two were the two that were together, but you know that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like that almost seeing Blade walk in and slaughtering people and blood raining down. Yeah, it had
Yes.
that feel. I mean, a lot more positive in the lyrics, but that kind of early 2000s, you know, Prodigy.
Oh yeah.
See, for me, it had more of an ICP feel.
Yeah.
I see.
And I mean, nothing against it. Listen, it was a great produced song, and it's, you know, it sounded good. It's just not my cup of tea. But yeah, definitely not the Prodigy feel. The Prodigy, man, I'll dance my ass off to that stuff.
Great depression.
But yeah, that's definitely the long song. Yeah, a lot of long songs today.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
But yeah, no, I think I would have though added it to my playlist. Just you know, just like I said before, it's not unlistenable. It's not my favorite, but throughout the day, to have something to kind of mix it up, you know.
Yeah, you're just trying to throw your AI algorithm off. You're like, just
100%, 100%.
Trying to trick the Matrix here.
Exactly. That book looked good, by the way. That Thug book.
Yeah,
it looked good.
Hell yeah.
Oh, it did. Yeah. I really should have paid attention to. I looked it up earlier, and I had planned on giving the information where you could find it, but I spaced it, and honestly, now
I blame it on the beer.
But but no, I am trying to throw out the and the past 3 days at work, I have heard Piano Man. It's only once a day, but that's plenty.
That's yeah. You might as well just listen to radio at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You listen to these algorithms, or, you know, back in the day, you would hope that you would hear a bunch of random shit, like when Pandora first came out. Like, it would throw a lot of random stuff, but then sort of later on, it would just start playing the same thing over and over again. And that's what the radio does. You know what I mean? That's sort of why you turn off the radio, not even as much as the talking heads, but just hearing the same 6 or 7 songs, you know, all day, or, you know, day.
Yeah. I mean, I enjoy the ease of, you know, being able to add a song to my playlist in the middle of the day, right? That's cool. Will I ever hear it? Fuck if I know. But I think about like having like the mini disc player I had, the Sony mini disc player back in the day.
Oh.
You know, I had 6 discs or whatever, and I'd have to switch them out. But even then, one disc with however many songs was on it, it would really mix it up. It really would, you know.
Yeah.
And I really, I really, really want that. I want to hear. There are songs every once in a while. A song will come onto my playlist, and I'd be like, I know I've heard it before, but like it's been so long since I put it on my playlist that I don't recognize this at all. But so yeah, we got the 2 out of 5 added to the playlist. One by just because I couldn't. But Lonely Heights wins the day.
Yeah, good find. Good find.
Yeah,
For sure.
and we'll I don't know if we're gonna do this next week. Maybe we'll switch back to we'll give it a week rest or something. But thanks for Chris for listening to the songs.
Yeah, man. Dude, this is twist my arm. Like I've always been doing new music, so yeah, this is cool.
Nice. But we are right at our 1 hour mark, and we're gonna go ahead and start wrapping up for the night. We thank you if you stuck around and watched, and we got chats, but it doesn't say much. I don't know what this was in.
Oh,
there it is.
Yeah, to the music.
Okay. But Chris, once again, I want to thank you for coming on and talking about Infinitale Chronicles and listening to some music with us and giving your opinion.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Hopefully, nobody out there is going to be heartbroken about whether we like their music.
There's somebody right now. They're like, "Oh man, my validation, man."
Pick a better song next week.
Yeah, no doubt.
The crisis was there. He just didn't like his music, and that's how it went south.
Well, I mean, I get about I don't know, 10 to 15 people viewing right now because we're still doing we're still young in our little stream here. We've just knocked 3 off the list, so. But once again, before we head out, let's let people know where they can find your book and all the stuff they need to know about you.
Oh yeah, thanks again, man. Head on over to X at Infinitale Comic. You can basically find links to like my website and stuff. The website is infinitale.chronicles.com. I know it's a bit of a mouthful, but you type in Infinitale, it's usually the first result in Google. And that's got links to the crowdfunding campaigns. It's also got links to the first book available on Amazon right now. We're hoping to kick off that crowdfunding campaign for book 2 very soon. I got all the color. I'm just finishing up the lettering. And once I get the proofs of concept for that, I'm going to kick off the campaign. So we're looking at probably a couple of weeks to a month from now. But nice. Yeah, and thanks again for having me, man.
Oh, thanks for coming on. We are going to go ahead and wrap it up, everyone. If you are watching now and if you watch in the future, thank you very much. And have a good night. Read some comics, listen to some good music, watch some good movies. Thanks.